just because it's just a hot topic now, right? And I have two kind of like questions. Like, one of which is, do you think this is good? Does it make your job easier actually, or your group's job easier now with these tools? I don't know if you use any of the tools to help you identify, papers, or flag certain papers, or flag certain things. And then the other point of my kind of the AI question is, do you worry about, I don't know what the best way to put it, but like deep fakes. Like, I don't know if this is something even worthwhile to worry about, but we always hear about, oh, you can have someone create a video now, animation of, some very famous person saying words that they did not say at all, right? Like, is there a concern with that for basically in science, that people like basically could just make up data, or make up data that's so realistic that it's hard to kind of, it's hard to decipher, right? So what do you think about that, that potential challenge?
That's a good one. Yeah, we have conversations in our organization around it. I know there's a handful of people that do use some different tools to help with like getting like a first draft of something, right? They'll use different LLM models for that. I know that there's a bunch of people that use it for help with code. It's actually pretty good for that. If you're like we use open source code, like we use R. There's some good tools out there just to help you figure out, like, oh, instead of doing a Google search, you're like, I can just ask somebody, how do I do X? It's pretty good for that too. So I think it has some benefits. Yeah, I think my perspective is, yes, I think there is concern. I think it's always been there. There's another concern beyond AI that AI is only going to exacerbate, right? These deepfakes, which is these paper mills. That's another topic that you could get into some point, which is there are groups, because of that publish perish culture, because paper is the incentive, there are groups that you literally can pay them to get a paper, which is crazy, right? Pay somebody and they will put your name on a paper that's completely fabricated. And it finds its way into the literature and it gets cited. And so what's happening is, like, we're basically, like, again, right, like, being published to me does not give you credibility. It's now you have to sift through it. So I do worry about it, but it's already there and it's been there. We as humans have been doing this anyway. So I think you're right. This probably just makes it worse. I actually find AI more exciting in terms of using it as a tool. We're doing some development. We've been working on a project that was funded by DARPA, which is a agency in the US that's through the DoD. To see if we could develop AI tools to help assess credibility, right? So right now, we as humans do it. You're like, well, can I have an AI assistant help me out? So I think there's actually potential for that, basically to help you sift through it. And people have been using, for better or for worse, AI tools to help detect plagiarism, right? Now there's this, you start to get these circular loops, right? Which is like, oh man, is it just like they're creating fake data and you have to find something to catch the fake data? I don't know. We probably are already in that world and we can't tell. I also think it can help you with, exposing more of the research process. We can use it to help do better research. So I'm actually more excited about leaning more into that potential, and just recognizing, like, right, you want to stop this, you have to really shift the incentives and you have to open up more of the process. If I want to figure out if somebody made up data, the best way to do it is to say, well, great, show me all the ways that you collected that data. Because unless somebody's going to truly let somebody fabricate end-to-end research process, which that would be dangerous. You're probably going to figure it out if you see more of the process. But if you're only focused on the paper, it's really easy to get tricked. And I think that's the challenge. So the more that we can expose more of the research that's behind the paper, right? The 10 times somebody did the experiment, not the one time, all the methods instead of just a summary of the methods, I think this is how we're going to help correct this kind of infiltration.
Yes, no, I actually, it's exciting to hear that you think there's a lot of utility of leveraging artificial intelligence, especially in assessing credibility, because this is a concept that I always kind of thought about, is like, now that, let's say you have tons of results that are negative, right? And like what they are, right? And one person, it's hard to read all these publications. That if you just had AI kind of go through it, now it understands what is like not going to work. If you kind of type in sort of experiment, a protocol, it says, hey, you know what, just flagging this for you here. This potentially, it looks like this has only a 5% of success. Like, yeah, you could do it, but it looks like there's only 5% of success potential, right? But then that goes back to the fact that you need a lot of open data to actually make that actually happen.
Yeah, there's been a lot of absolutely, you need a lot of open data and a lot of unbiased data, right? So I think, like, actually back to the big call, right? Like, I find mining AI tools, like, I find this super fascinating. Yeah, there's definitely like a con to it. So I'm not like, and there's biases that they can propagate, by the way. So I don't want to dismiss that. We just have to like really focus on like rooting out those biases as well. But the potential seems so enormous to me. But I think the challenge is, unless you get good, reliable open data, right? Like it's easy to like pump the literature, the data into a model and get something out, but it's like garbage in, garbage out, right? You don't want that, right? I think we want to be focusing more on the quality of data that we're putting into our models, so that way we can actually use them efficiently. So I'm excited for both ends. I see the potential that's there. I still think we're, at best, it's really more of an assistant, right? AI is not something that is going to go off and do it, but that day might change. But I think right now, in order to really see the potential of what it can do for us, we need to like make our data more reliable and more open.